YouTube friends and family to today's edition of the Wellness Homesteader. And we need to get busy, y'all, planning for our hashtag 3 Rivers Challenge, hashtag Pantry Challenge, hashtag No Spend January, whatever you decide is good for you and yours to do for the month of January as we start out 2025 with a mindset towards frugality. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the 3 Rivers Challenge, why I like to do it. I think this is like my maybe 4th year doing it, and it's really beneficial for me. Now, it may not, and we'll get into it, but it may not serve the same purpose depending on the size of your family, depending on whether or not you grow and preserve food. This may not fit 100%, but there's pieces and parts that I think you can use. Let me go take care of the Kiki, who's starting to grumble because he wants a drink of water, which we've had 14 of them this morning, but that would be Hanky Panky Frankie. All right, guys, I'll be right back. Dehydration averted. So let's talk a little bit about why I want to do this, why you may want to do this, what the rules are, what's involved, what the benefits might be to you, and so forth and so on. At the end, I'm going to talk a little bit about homework as we prepare to be more frugally focused for 2025, some of the things that you can expect in upcoming videos. So why do a 3 Rivers Challenge or a Pantry Challenge? And what that actually means is you commit to either not going to the grocery at all, only buying certain things. Let's say, like for me, I don't produce dairy here. So if I want cheese or butter or, well, cow's milk, but only for recipes as a general rule, I don't drink it. But anything dairy, cottage cheese, yogurt, I have to go to the store to buy that. And so there are a few exceptions always, I think, for anyone. But you want to use up, if you have a robust pantry, you want to use your food and continuously rotate it, not use it up to empty, but so that you're using food by its best by date. So you've all had experience where you've had something that got shoved in the back of the freezer and it's freezer burnt and it tastes awful, and no amount of gravy is going to fix that. I love me some gravy. Did not have gravy this year for Thanksgiving or Christmas. How good am I? So, but anyway, it's to avert those type of things. Now, I have recently gone through and done a complete clear out, I guess you would say, of all my home canned goods and of my freezer and most of my long-term pantry. I have a lot of grains and buckets, things like that, and that gets rotated through pretty regularly. I actually store a lot of things in there because my kitchen's so small. I really don't have a kitchen pantry to speak of, so it helps me to have that entire bedroom now a pantry. Another reason you might consider doing this challenge is it's going to help you empty the jars that you're going to need for next year. So I just took advantage of 4 jars sale that they had for the new year. You got 200 lids, either wide or narrow mouth. I chose wide. I have quite a bit of narrow mouth, and I'm using more wide mouth jars like for tomatoes and things like that. It's just a little bit easier for me. I kind of like them better. So, but I have a variety. But I want to see, okay, what do I keep passing up on the shelf? Like, yeah, we're not having that today, or I don't want that. So things that I might not want to preserve again, not so much from the standpoint it didn't turn out well, it's just not one of my go-tos, and I primarily eat up my preserved food in the colder months of the year and fresh food when garden season hits. So if I made too many beans, I don't know if there is such a thing, but I'll know, I need to start getting through these beans, and as I'm planting my garden, I don't want to can as many beans. I did not can as many tomatoes this year and I'm gonna be through them and ready by the time tomato season hits again. Of course, the most obvious reason is it's gonna help us save money. So I guarantee you, if you have a large pantry, the food that's on your shelf, you probably purchased at a lower price than what food stores are today. Now you might be thinking, yeah, but I have to replace that. And that is true, but holding on to it past its best by date or into spoilage serves no purpose. You hold on to something that costs less. And I've had to really remind myself that it's okay to use all of my pantry goods because I have a pretty good sized pantry for one. When my son is home or if I go up there, he'll shop. He shopped when he was home for Christmas, and that's nice. If I have a family in need or I'm doing a meal, a couple jars of jam, a couple jars of veg. I mean, you can go through it fairly quickly. Let me get a drink here. Alrighty. Another thing is it helps me try some new recipes. So let's go back to our bean thing. I made Boston baked beans in 2023. So, they're gonna be 2 years old late 2025. So they're about a year old. Y'all, they taste nothing like Boston baked beans. They're absolutely awful if you're expecting a Boston baked bean. But let me tell you what, they make great refried beans. They are really good on tortillas, like a bean and cheese tortilla. They're good on tacos. I've actually gotten through quite a bit of that. Will I make that again? No, I will not. But I had to find a way because I might have made a lot of jars of it because I love beans, in case y'all didn't know that. Really love beans, any kind of bean. So, another reason why you might want to do a pantry challenge on some level, or a Three Rivers challenge, or a no spend challenge, is it's really fun to challenge yourself. I actually don't have a 2025 calendar. I need to pick one up. You can always get one locally, like at the bank or the pharmacy or whatever. I'm not buying a fancy dancy one. But I have my planner, which has a month at a glance. And it was really fun to, yellow out the days as I went through, and I didn't spend any money. And I was looking for ways to be creative with what I had. When there was something that I really thought I wanted, I would put it in my Amazon cart, and I had a rule that it had to stay there for 30 days. And let me tell you, at the end, there was nothing that I needed. Pardon me, y'all, with these stupid hiccups. The last reason why you might want to consider this pantry or Three Rivers challenge is it's going to put you into a frugality mindset. I always think the holidays kind of have this spend, buy. Ooh, it's on sale, it's half price, it's Black Friday, it's a special deal, it's 75% off after Christmas. Ooh, I've always wanted to try this subscription box. That's a Kym Clark thing. Yeah, and that can be a hard mindset sometimes to get out of. So I want to share, and y'all, I mean, no disrespect to this person. I follow her on Instagram. There's actually two ladies. I enjoy both of their content, but it made me realize something this morning. So the first gal, I would say, and I'm not going to give you names because it may seem disrespectful. I'd say she's in her early 30s, has 2 children, married, lives in an absolute mansion, has all these brand deals, and is definitely a brand. And she put up her 2024 New Year's review. All the things they had done, events they had attended, vacations they had taken, decor for the seasons, which is unbelievably beautiful. And I'm telling you, it's things like that that can really play with our minds and make us feel like we are not enough. The other gal is a single parent with a daughter, and she does a lot of DIY things. but she does all these seasonal parties and swag bags and giveaways, and she's really fun to watch. She's very, very creative. But as I was looking at some of her content this morning, I was like, this is why I think it can be hard to have a frugal mindset without feeling deprived. So I'm here to tell you, this can be fun, this can be rewarding, and I'm not saying I want you to have bread and water only, rice and beans only, turn your heat down to 50. It's not that kind of a mindset. It's just a general way about how you're going to balance the resources you have against your wants and needs. All right, so the rules. Anyone can participate. You make your own rules. I love challenges like that, right? So maybe you don't have the robust pantry, but you want to kind of curb your grocery bill, and you want to set a spending limit. Or you actually do have some things that were shoved in the back of your, it's just the cat, freezer or to the back of your pantry that you need to use up or find a creative way to use before it is no longer palatable or edible. So those are all good ways to decrease your spending or set a spending limit. But I think you have to be ready for some exceptions, and I'm going to share my 3. Number 1, I don't produce dairy here, and while I don't eat like volumes of dairy, I like my cheese. I like certain things that I don't want to be without for 2 months. To me, that is just not acceptable. So I am going to allow myself a small budget for dairy. I also have my son's birthday is in the month of January. So I'm hunting my tissue. I will be making him, he has ordered a pineapple upside down cake. And I know I don't have any canned pineapple or any maraschino cherries. So I am going to make him his cake. And then the final thing is I am signed up with a meal train for my friend whose husband's starting chemo to provide some meals. And so there will be things I have to purchase. One thing, like salad, like fresh ingredients like that for them. So it's okay to have exceptions. Set those out. That way you don't feel like you've failed. There may be more exceptions. Maybe you have littles, you need fresh fruits and vegetables. You absolutely have to have those fresh. That's one of your goals for your family. That's okay. Just be in the mindset of, let me use up the things that I've had for a while. Get those off the shelf while they're still not past their best by date and still nutritionally sound, and try some new recipes and maybe find some new family favorites. All right, so you have some homework, y'all. And I thought long and hard about this, and I thought, I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. Whether you choose to do it or not is really up to you. For the food side, if you haven't done an inventory, if you're not aware of what you have, go ahead and do a quick inventory. And I would say if your meals focus around the protein with sides, check your proteins. Can you go a month or 2 months? Excuse me for wiping my nose. And if you can't, what do you need to stock up on? Sides, same way. What can you make from scratch with ingredients that you already have so that you're not buying pre-made or pre-packaged items, which generally aren't as healthy for you? And then I'd like for all of us to do our last grocery order, haul, run, whatever you do. I order my groceries, and we're going to talk about that in just a minute. And it saves me a ton of money. And that's just a me thing, but I hate grocery shopping. So I think those 2 things are important to do before January 1st. If you are a meal planner, go ahead and plan out your first week. You don't want to get to day 1 and be like, I didn't thaw anything out, or I don't know where to start. Always good to have that first week planned and under your belt. So some other things that you might do as we step into 2025 is some more frugal homework. So I've been on a mission to unsubscribe to all the emails that are telling me what I need and that I should buy it. How I ever get on these lists, I don't know. I don't know. Did one of you send my email? And I actually have two emails. I have a business email and a personal email. Just unsubscribe. Then you don't have to look at it. Then you don't have to be like, oh, that's such a good deal. I mean, I really don't need it. I'm trying not to spend money. Just unsubscribe. The second thing is you can't arrive somewhere, in my opinion, if you don't set goals. How are you going to know where you're going or what you're aiming for if you don't have goals? So start thinking about your 2025 goals. I will be doing a goal setting video. So maybe your goal is going to be, I only make enough so that I'm kind of at the break even point. So I don't ever want to not break even. I want to stay within my budget. Maybe you want to try to cut out some expenses and save $10 a month or $100 a month or whatever works with your budget. Maybe you have a savings goal or a debt payoff goal. Having a why of why you want to do this makes it so much more fun, because let's face it, as adults, we can be results driven and reward driven. So what's in it for me? The with them. So what's in it for me if I live a very frugal 2025, replenishing my savings a bit because it took kind of a hit this year, and not feeling so pressured when taxes and insurance come up because I've decided I'm going to stay in my home. The last thing I'm going to ask you to do is go ahead and list out all your subscriptions. If you're not sure, go look at your bank account. So this is things like TV channels, like your Netflix and your Hulu. I don't have any of those. I'm not criticizing you if you do. I haven't had cable in years. Thank goodness YouTube is free, right? Subscription boxes. I have one more FabFitFun, and I will just stop it then. And in fact, a good way, if you're afraid that you are going to get renewed and you don't want to get renewed, if your payment information has been stored, just delete it out. And then they can't charge a card they don't have, right? Sometimes crafts or sewing type things will have subscriptions, like the Cricut, like fancy sewing machines. So are those things that bring you joy, that you still want to have, that you can still afford? Just list them out. We're not going to make decisions right now. Magazine subscriptions, software subscriptions. I, for example, have Canva to do my thumbnails. That's hard to say. And I just renewed it because it makes my life so easy. I need it. And it does things other than just thumbnails. You can create all kinds of things very professionally on Canva. That's the only software I have. And then e-commerce. So what do I mean by that? I mean Amazon or whoever else, you go online, you scroll down, you put it in your cart, and it shows up sometimes the very same day. Now, I am an Amazon Prime member. I settled in my mind a long time ago that's a benefit to me because I don't have a plethora of places to shop. I have to go a fur piece to find anything other than the dollar store. So it does make sense for me to have an Amazon. Do I order too easily and too often from Amazon? Yes, but we'll talk about that when we start talking in our upcoming videos. And then also any learning subscriptions. So are you paying for Babbel, for Masterclass? There's so many of them. Or like Audible, like the book thing, which I do have, and I'm going to continue to have because I use it. Probably. So we're going to say that. So what can you expect upcoming? So we'll be talking about meals during the Pantry Challenge. It won't be all the content that I present, but it will be some of it. It's really fun to watch other people that are participating in the Three Rivers Challenge to see what they come up with. And Jessica, oh my word, I swear she could make rock stew, you know, or rock soup, you know. She just can really stretch and really do well with her food. Now, she is due with her 9th baby, like, I think any time. So this year's Pantry Challenge might be a little bit different, but we're going to give her some grace. Another baby, another newborn. Whew. All right, we'll talk about goal setting. We'll have a video on that. We're also going to talk about budgeting, because you need to operate from some type of a budget and a goal system in order to get anywhere, is my opinion. And then we'll talk about some different categories of spending and ways you can decrease that amount. So whether it's utilities, whether it's food, whether it's health and beauty, those type categories. Like my mind just did a blank. So it's very overcast here today. Very depressing, but we've been getting lots of good rain. The girly girls are doing fine. They had a very good Chickmas. And yeah, they're okay. Winona's laying. The other girls are like, no, we're holding out. So they're still on strike. I think they'll start laying real soon with the days getting longer. And we are going to be near 60 tomorrow. But then next week, our highs will be in the 20s and lows in the teens. So seasonable January. Y'all, I hope this 2025 focus on being frugal, ways to save money, ways to live within your means, ways to have a little bit left over at the end of the month without feeling deprived or strapped or unfortunate. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and I think we can learn from each other. You all have a lot of great ideas too. Now, what it won't be is, have y'all ever watched that Extreme Cheapskates? It hasn't been on for years. Okay, I'm old. Like people washing dental floss and hanging it up. Yeah, no. It won't be anything that extreme. But if that's what you want to do, more power to you, right? So I hope you had a blessed holiday. I hope the new year rings in safe and happy, and that you're well and taking care of each other and enjoying time with friends and family. So I plan to see you next week, but until then, be healthy, be well, be blessed, and take care.